Thank you for coming back on board. This is Pillars of History. We are very grateful to have you here. Yeah, so according to reliable information, there has been a tense fighting between the JNIM terrorists and the Burkina Faso armed forces. But all in all, the Burkina Faso armed forces have come on top. They have been able to liberate their territories and to neutralize all the threat that has been looming on for some extensive time. So the JNIM terrorists tried to attack Kanchari. You know, this is the second attack on Kanchari within a month. The reason why these terrorists are attacking this place because it is strategically located and it is located on their supply lines. That means that the presence of troops in Kanchari, it disrupts the supply lines of the JNIM terrorists. So they are unable to get their supplies in order to keep their war machine going on, to attack innocent civilians. So the terrorists lost, It was a very tense fighting which led to maximum neutralization of different elements, and these elements actually faced the ground. They lost a lot. But what I have noticed from these terrorists, they don't back up. I don't know their sponsors, does their sponsors tell them, but they don't back down. They keep on going. But the Burkina Faso armed forces have shown them their strength, that they can really defend the land. So not only on Kanchari, there have been even also another tense fighting in the outskirts of Konsunu. And this area was also attacked by terrorists. They wanted to overrun the barracks. They wanted to overrun the military camp. Definitely, they faced a fierce resistance which led to neutralization of many of the elements through aerial vehicles, aerial attacks. And most of them kissed the ground. So this was also another failure or defeat to them. So there has been also a tense fighting in Mali. The Malians have been battling these insurgents in the Kidal region, which led to neutralization of different elements, and most of them are the JNIM and the ICC Sahel,
The FAMA, the Defense and Security Forces, have inflicted heavy losses on the terrorists in the Kidal region and routed others who attacked the Zantikila post early this morning. Comments by Abdoulaye Sakou.
The General Staff of the Armed Forces informs the public that, as part of territorial surveillance, on October 8, 2025, FAMA's aerial units detected and neutralized a group of terrorist armed groups in the Inaraban area, Kidal region. On the same day, in the localities of Kolondieba, Zegwa and Erema Konor, in the Sikasso region, aerial units carried out strikes on 3 targets, all successfully engaged. Several dozen terrorists were neutralized and equipment was destroyed. Furthermore, on Thursday, October 9, 2025, the forces responded vigorously to the attack on the Antiguilas post at dawn. The report indicates that several terrorists were neutralized and motorcycles and weapons were recovered. The General Staff of the Armed Forces reassures the public of the FAMA's full commitment to fighting terrorism throughout the country.
So, most of these elements have lost their lives. But they are trying to fight, They don't back down, They don't back down. I will not drop the pictures here because the pictures and the videos always lead to violation and some other negative consequences of the channel, so which undermines our efforts to push the narrative or to push our information to inform people, stay updated about the fight in the Sahel. But the fight in the Sahel today is more than fighting for freedom. This is a fight for survival. So the people of the Sahel are really fighting for their survival. Because if there is weakness in these countries, that means that the terrorists with their Western funders will overrun the countries, and then the countries will be in a state of quagmire. So it's about survival in the Sahel. Other than that, everything cannot be normal. Yeah, that is true, and that's the fact. So, as we speak of today, according to reliable information, both Burkina Faso and Niger, even Mali, have started producing their homemade weapons to support the troops on the battlefield. So they no longer purchase these unmanned vehicles and other type of machineries or equipments. So they now rely on homemade infantry vehicles so that they can support the troops on the battlefield, on contact zones. So this has also boosted their morale, and that's why you see a lot of people volunteering, you know what we call the VDPs, the volunteers for the defense of the homeland. Those are in Burkina Faso. Many of the Western media or Western people, the mainstream media brand them as militias. But these people are not militias. These people are, it's like me and you trying to defend the country from this kind of violence that is being imposed on innocent civilians by the imperialists. So this is why it's more than fighting for freedom. It is fighting for survival. So that's why the Sahel states are using all means to capture or to defend their territories without being overrun by these bandits. So the fight is still ongoing, but the recovery of land, or because there is maximum recovery of land, the land which was previously occupied by the imperialists, by these forces of evil, is now controlled by the government. So we can say that the land that is still not under government's control is like less than 10%. Maybe in Mali it is like 20%. But this doesn't mean that the land that is still under bandits, it is all controlled by the bandits. No, they don't have presence there. But what makes them control this land is they are able to carry on attacks on these lands and run. So this is why we say that it is still not yet covered. So when aerial reconnaissance drones come on and try to establish a buffer zone, then that means that this land will also be liberated, and of which I think the counter-offensive is ongoing in all the three states, and they are trying to do whatever they can to pull on resources to support the country's army and the combined force or the allied forces of the AES. Yeah, thank you for being with us. This is Ice Frank on Pillars of History. To stay updated about the AES or African politics, of course, you have to come on this channel and other Pan-African channels that give the same information, which is contrary to the mainstream media. Thank you for being with us.